The Deluxe Edition Network, also known as The Den, is an incredible podcast network that offers a wide variety of entertaining and informative podcasts.
With a lineup of shows covering various topics, such as interviews with a wide variety of guests, history, music, relationships, true crime, and so much more. The Den provides content that caters to a diverse range of interests.
The hosts and guests on the Deluxe Edition Network demonstrate a deep passion and expertise in their respective fields, making each episode on each show engaging and thought-provoking.
The network fosters a sense of community by encouraging listeners to interact through live chats, social media, and forums, creating an inclusive environment for discussion and sharing opinions.
With its commitment to high-quality production, the shows in the Deluxe Edition Network continue to captivate and entertain its ever-growing audience.
Whether you're a podcast enthusiast or someone looking to explore new topics, The Den is a fantastic platform to dive into and uncover fascinating insights from experts in their fields.
The Deluxe Edition Network is the home of independent awesomeness.
To find all these great podcasts in one convenient location, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
I was getting ready to start talking. I didn't hit the record button yet. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Films and Fermentation. This is episode 156. Here's what's weird, guys. The other day, I got one of those Facebook timeline things, like this was on your timeline 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And what it showed me was episode 23 that I had posted like 3 years ago. And I was like, holy shit, we're up to 100.
We were so young.
We were so young and naive. And
that's before I had gray hair.
We averaged 1.5 listeners. But this is episode 156. This is going to be being released on July 2nd. So we're doing our July 4th episode, basically, for you. And in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the 1996 disaster film, Independence Day.
Listen to this. This better not be another damn Russian spy job.
Away from air traffic red, say the skies are clear.
It's the real thing. A radio signal from another world.
Mr. President, our intelligence tells us the object is settled into a stationary orbit. Part of it is broken off into nearly 36 other pieces, smaller than the whole, sir. Yet over 15 miles in width themselves.
Where are they heading?
It should be entering our atmosphere within the next 25 minutes.
Earthquake!
Let's just get there as quickly as possible.
What's the rush, huh? Think we'll get to Washington and won't be there?
It is confirmed. The unexplained phenomenon is headed for Moscow.
It's like a chess. First, they're positioning their pieces, using this one signal to synchronize their efforts. And then what? Checkmate.
God. I really don't think they flew 90 billion light years to start a fight.
They're gonna kill us all!
this briefing, Captain Hiller?
No, sir. Just a little anxious to get up there and whoop ET's ass, that's all.
That's right. We are Films of Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. And one of us was so shit-faced last week
Leo,
that it was a fun re-listen when I had to edit the show the next day. That's right. In this episode, we're diving into the 1996 classic Independence Day because nothing says cheers like Will Smith punching an extraterrestrial in the face.
I could have been at a barbecue.
What's that smell?
We'll dissect the film, sip some out-of-this-world libations, and try to figure out how Jeff Goldblum saves the world from an advanced alien race with a laptop that uses a dial-up connection to the internet. Whew, that was a mouthful. So grab your favorite beverage and join us as we celebrate America's independence by blowing up half the planet. Remember, it's not just a podcast. It's a countdown to a good time.
From sea to shining sea.
Don't forget, you can drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation. Find all of our social media and podcast links, including our new link on Reddit. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family by supporting us on Patreon. We have some fun little extras for you if you give us one of those monthly Patreon supports. And we also have some merchandise at teespring.com. Go to teespring.com and visit the Films Ferment storefront. We are part of the Deluxe Edition Network, The Den, at deluxeeditionnetwork.com. Don't forget, July 1st, we will be posting a link that you can go to vote on the DENNY Awards. All three of us are up for some award or another. We are up for Male Podcaster or Male Voice of the Year. Yes, we are up for Podcaster of the Year. That is me. And our show itself is up for Podcast of the Year on the DENNY Awards. So don't forget to vote for us, folks. We'll be sending that link out shortly. In the meantime,
every vote we get, that participant gets $1,000 sent to them.
By courtesy of Kevin.
Yeah, by Kevin, because I ain't got that.
There's a bunch of fine print.
1,000 Monopoly dollars.
Monopoly dollars.
In the meantime, check out the Den's podcast of the month for the month of June. It'll be changing shortly, so this is the last time we're going to hear this wild promo for a while. It is History I'd Like to Fuck with Dawn Brodey.
Hi, I'm Dawn Brodey, a comedian with a history degree and the host of the podcast HILF, History I'd Like to Fuck. Each episode, I am joined by a new guest who has brought me a subject from history that they want to know more about. Then I hit the books, I dig deep in the annals, and stimulate. We've covered Frankenstein, Houdini, Joan of Arc, Pompeii, the Salem witch trials, right? Join us and find out for yourself that history is a party and everybody's coming.
I've listened to her show, a couple of her shows recently. She is a lot of fun. What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen?
Cold shower afterwards.
Breathing heavy. What are we drinking tonight? Speaking of,
I'll go first. It is summertime. And I am embarking on my summer brews. So I have two with me here. A new one from Sam Adams. It is the Sam Adams Pool Party, which is a citrusy, hazy pale ale. It's 5.5% alcohol by volume. Their description is this hazy golden ale features a splash of tropical fruit notes, medium hoppiness, and a smooth, refreshing finish that says, "Come on in, the beer's fine." So this is in their variety pack. Their variety pack right now also containing Porch Rocker, the Summer Ale, and the Cherry Wheat, which was nice. And then I shall be embarking on a Cape May Brewing Company citrus shandy called The Grove, the squeeze of the day, which is 4.5% alcohol by volume. The Grove drinks the Grove drinks like you picked the morning the fruit this morning, squeezed it into a glass, and poof, turned it into the most intensely crushable beer you've ever seen. Snappy, super bright, and ridiculously refreshing, the Grove is sweet and tart with a brilliant aroma reminiscent of walking through a citrus grove at harvest. And this is Cape May Brewery, one of my favorites in the Jersey Shore area. So, lime feeling good, the Grove.
Mike, what are you doing?
I'm sitting here. What about you, Lee? I am drinking from Devil's Backbone Distilling Company their Lemonade Smash, which is vodka with lemon juice and natural citrus flavors, 10% of alcohol by volume.
Nice. And I decided tonight, after last week's Moonshine Massacre, that I wasn't going to make it complicated for myself tonight. I wasn't doing a mixed drink. It's summertime. It's July 4th episode. July 4th means barbecues, and nothing goes better at a barbecue than a nice cold beer. So like Kevin, I hit the Sam Adams summer packet for tonight, and I'm starting with the Breakaway Blonde Ale, which is 4.7% alcohol by volume. I'm almost finished that one. When I'm done that, I'm moving on to the good old original Sam Adams Boston Lager, which is 5% alcohol by volume. Trying to keep it cold in the meantime. Michael, looks like we had a lot happen this week.
A shit lot happened this week.
Go for it.
This week in film history.
Should I take the first one since I wrote that in?
Yes.
In the week since our last recording, legendary actor Donald Sutherland passed away. That was on June 20th. It said in the bio that it was after battling a long illness, but was not specific about what the illness was. He was 88 years old. And for me, whenever I think of Donald Sutherland, I think of three roles. I think of Invasion of the Body Snatchers from the 1970s. I think of The Dirty Dozen, because it's one of my all-time favorite movies. And I think of his amazing cameo as Mr. X in JFK.
You see, the three roles I think of him in are the arsonist from Backdraft. You know, very small role, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think of him in Animal House.
Yeah. Oh,
where
yeah.
He is the professor that gets to shag Karen Allen, and I think of him in MASH as Hawkeye.
That's a good call. I forgot about MASH.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think. Mike.
I was along those lines with both of you two. MASH was definitely the one. The Dirty Dozen is another. Those two roles just pop out to me with it when it comes to him.
And I think most modern audiences would probably know him best now as President Snow.
Snow, yeah.
In the Hunger Games films. What's your next one there, Mike?
In 1916, Mary Pickford becomes the first female film star to get $1 million contract.
Good old Mary.
Jesus. And that's silent films.
Yeah. That's why I put it out there like $1 million.
She spoke with her eyes.
You know what it is though, too, the actors back then had contracts with specific studios, so they didn't make movies outside of that studio.
That was $1 million contract, but that was like 18 movies.
I was gonna say she probably filmed a movie a week back then because they were silent films. They were like an hour, but still $1 million, 1916.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. What's your next one there, Mike?
My next one actually happened today.
Today?
Today. In 1973, Live and Let Die, the 8th James Bond film, first to star Roger Moore, also starring Jane Seymour, was released in the U.S.
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Live and Let Die.
I was going to say, did they have Wings do the
Yes. Wings
song?
did that.
It's like in rankings of James Bond theme songs, that's kind of on the lower side in my book.
Also, I like the Live Let Die theme song. It's also a really good cover from Guns N' Roses for Terminator 2.
Well, it is a very good cover. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't scream Bond to me, you know? Wings in general just doesn't scream Bond to me.
Just in case you're wondering, gentlemen, $1 million in 1916 means she would have signed a contract for $28 million today.
Wow.
Now, that's a contract for $28 million. That's not $28 million a film, which is what most actors make. She would have been like one of the more broke actresses. What's the next one I got? I like the next one because this is one of my, it's a corny James Bond film, but I love it.
In 1979, Moonraker, the 11th James Bond film, starring Roger Moore, premieres in London. Talk about not a great
one.
No, the movie's fine. I mean, but musically, not great.
And isn't this the one where Jaws turns into a good guy?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Little short guy.
Speaking of Roger Moore and James Bond.
Yeah, a lot happened this week. James Bond. In 1981, For Your Eyes Only, the 12th James Bond starring Roger Moore, and the 11th, directed by John Glenn, premieres in London.
For Your Eyes Only. That's a decent James Bond theme.
Only.
All right, go for the next one there, sir.
1982 science fiction film Blade Runner, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Harrison Ford and Rutger Hauer, is released.
He's a replicant.
Top 10 monologues in film history is Rutger Hauer's death scene as Roy Batty. I've seen sea beams on fire off the shoulder of Orion. All of these memories will fade like tears
in the rain.
And he ad-libbed that line. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Amazing. I love that. I love that speech.
I like the fight between Harrison Ford and Ridley Scott, whether or not he's a replicant. Yes, that was addressed in Blade Runner 2040.
Kind of addressed in 2049 a little bit. Yeah. The next fact is pretty serendipitous.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. 1996, Independence Day, directed by Roland Emmerich and starring Will Smith, Bill Pullman, and Jeff Goldblum, premieres in Westwood, Hollywood, California.
Yeah. We'll be speaking about that film later tonight. What's the next one you got there, Mike?
2003. Dude, I took 10 things off this list that happened this week.
That's because it's like, summertime movie premiere week and all that.
Yep. 4th of July.
In 2003, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, directed by Gore Verbinski, starring Johnny Depp, Keira Knightley, and Orlando Bloom, premiered at Disneyland.
This was good. I like this movie. Like when it came out, it was a little on the fence, but they turned. It was them trying to turn their rides, their amusements into movies, and this was, I think, probably their most successful.
Yeah, because they've had some really stinkers before this.
You mean Flubber, or you mean the Haunted Mansion?
Haunted Mansion.
The Haunted Mansion, the Tower of Terror.
Yeah. I was on the fence about this one too when I first saw it. I was like, yeah, I guess it's all right. But then when I watched it again in comparison to the later films, I'm like, yeah, this was a really good movie.
Yeah.
Because the later ones just kept going further and further and further over the cliff. Plus, you had 19-year-old Keira Knightley.
But speaking of their later films, in 2006, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, directed by Gore Verbinski. I lost my place on the screen. Starring Johnny Depp, Keira Knightley, and Orlando Bloom, premieres in Disneyland, becoming the fastest film to gross over $1 billion.
This is $1 This is the one that had Bill Nye as Davy Jones too, right?
Yes.
Yes.
His face dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was the second of the first original 3.
Yes.
Second of the first original. Yes.
Which wasn't bad. I didn't hate it.
I read that they're doing a reboot now instead of doing like another sequel with Johnny Depp. they're going to do like a new Pirates film, like start
I
over
don't know.
again kind of thing. I don't know.
I didn't mind the first three, but after that, it was kind of like, eh.
I didn't see any of them after the first three because I felt like the third one was so over the top.
Well, the third one closed the story on your heroes. Except for
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you can make money
Stranger
out of it.
Tides was not that great, and I didn't see Dead Men Tell No Tales or whatever it was.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I saw the fourth one. And, all right.
The next one is Pirates of the Caribbean, money to pay the court bills. And your last fact there.
In 2017, Spider-Man: Homecoming, directed by John Watts, starring Tom Holland, Michael Keaton, and Robert Downey Jr., premieres in Los Angeles.
You're forgetting Marissa Tomei as the smoke show version of Aunt May.
I didn't write it. I just put it up.
Talk about Hollywood vampires, man. That's amazing. I liked Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
Which was your favorite of the three? Because I think, I don't know. Like, there's Homecoming, there was No Way Home, or
Far From Home, then No Way Home.
And I mean, I really like No Way Home because it was a lot of fan service with all the
a lot of nostalgia,
with all the multiverse shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the first one, Homecoming, was probably the best of the three.
I feel that Homecoming for me was the best because they didn't go back to the drawing board and do another origin film for fucking Spider-Man for the 500th fucking time.
And they've never done an origin film for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. He's just been Spider-Man. Yeah.
I like Homecoming. It was good. I like the way that they introduced the Vulture as something more realistic, you know, than the comic book.
Well, they make
but
it
I also
his tech is from the Chitauri,
right, from the Chitauri, and you can kind of sympathize. I don't know. You can kind of feel for him because he is trying to do it to make his family life better. It's not like he's an over-the-top millionaire or a mad scientist. He's a blue-collar worker, just
the government came in and just took all the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a valid reason for his anger.
He's got a reasonable motive, kind of like Killmonger had in Black Panther.
Yeah, I find that in the Marvel movies, the bad guys seem to have a reason that you can empathize with.
But I also liked
some of them. Not all of them.
Mysterio was actually pretty good too. Like the way that they used Mysterio, or the way that they put Mysterio into Far From Home was pretty good.
Yeah.
And
but that was a little
Jake
less
Gyllenhaal,
believable.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal gave a pretty good performance given how it was a little kind of crazy. I did like the Spider-Man black suit that he wore in that
Spider Monkey. In Germany, we call him Spider Monkey.
We're also giving short shrift to the actor who plays his best friend because he's fucking amazing in all the films.
Yes.
Every superhero needs the guy in the chair on the computer.
Yep.
Yep.
You have a must-try craft or beer destination for this night, Mike?
I must try beer. This is called Cherry Bomb from Carriage House Ciders, Benton Harbor, Michigan. Michigan is famous for two things: apples and cherries. This pale pink, 7.6% alcohol by volume sparkling hard cider combines the two, and it pours with the whispering of champagne. Some of the same bready, tart, yeasty, aromatic notes of champagne are also present here, with a wet oak mustiness that holds through from aroma to flavor. Things are very dry, then tart on the palate, but you get all the cherry complexity as well as a well-blended beer plus heritage apple varieties. There is also a fleeting cherry sweetness in the background and a warming alcohol toward the finish. There you go. A hard cider from Michigan. The Cherry Bomb. Cherry bomb.
I'm just doing that to see if YouTube blacks out that portion of the show when I publish it. That brings us to
Beer is good. Beer is good. Beer is good. And stuff. Beer is good. Beer is good. Beer is good. Let's go drink some beer.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
good. Spoiler alert: we have to change the lyrics to "Chips are good" for a little bit of your story tonight.
Just for a portion. I'm just going to start off with just something good-hearted because I've been given the impression that my beer news is a little down, down in the dumps lately. So recently, our favorite former Eagles couple, the Kelseys, Kylie, and what was that other one? Jason. Jason, yeah, yes. That's right. Yeah. And decided to do a little karaoke, which is the Japanese form of singing badly, at the Kelsey's annual charity beer bowl, which just took place not long ago. Kelsey is serving up two things, beer and Taylor Swift karaoke at Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey's second annual New Heights Beer Bowl, which took place yesterday, Wednesday, June 26th. The former field hockey player who is married to the retired Eagles center cheerfully belted along to the anti-hero singer's iconic 2008 smash, as captured in a sweet video for the charity event. Posted on the podcast official X account, the video finds Kylie holding a 3 full pitchers of beer like a pro while grooving along to Swift's hit playing through speakers. As the song progresses, the Philadelphia native gets more and more into her performance, nailing every lyric. The Beer Bowl is part of a 2-day event in Sea Isle City, New Jersey. Hey, I know where that is.
Mm-hmm.
Benefiting the Eagles Autism Foundation.
So do I.
Travis wasn't in attendance. Jason held down the fort on the first day by passing out Jello shots and playing games with guests. I love that man.
Travis wasn't there because Travis was debuting on Taylor Swift's Eras tour.
Oh, was he?
He did a dance number with her during her last performance.
Oh, okay.
All over the internet now.
However, Donna and Ed Kelsey, the mom and dad of the Kelsey brothers, were also there to support the cause. The Beer Bowl comes just a few days after Jason and Kylie got to sing along to Love Story and 44 other songs live at Swift's London Eras Tour shows last weekend. I never cried at a effing concert, and I was literally tearing up. Jason later raved about the show on New Heights, revealing Swift's 22 hat exchange with a female fan made him emotional. It was effing so special. That was my favorite part. He added to the pop star surprise section. It's just her, a guitar, and 90,000 people. It's too good to be. To be good in front of 90,000 people with just that. I think you have to be amazing. Feels like you're in a bar just listening to somebody play a piano. So if you're interested, feel free to check out the New Heights link on Twitter, because I'm not going to tell anybody it's called something else. And that's what I got in terms of good beer news. Now,
because the Kelsey Brothers New Heights podcast needs.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I did tell you, gentlemen, I had a surprise thing today. Today is Hoagie Fest. Happy Hoagie Fest, everybody. I hope you had a Wawa Hoagie, of which I did earlier for dinner. And while I was there, I found the Hers competition, all three. We have the Hers, Toledo's cheese flavored and marinara flavored chips. Okay, so this is one flavor of chips that they are putting into the flavored Philly contest finalists. We have the Mom's Kitchen potato pierogi, artificially flavored. This is supposed to have some pieroginess to it, so potato on potato sounds good to me. And we have the Romano Stromboli, the original Romano Stromboli, special hot Stromboli. And I'm not into hot things, but this isn't bad. It's more like banana peppers to the smell of it, but it's got all the scents of all the meats. So
it's got the meats.
We got the meats, and I know I told you guys I'm going to just eat a couple so that when I see you, we can taste test these ourselves and see how they are. I'm starting with the Mom's Kitchen potato pierogi.
As the red
sour cream and onion.
I was gonna say, as the resident Italian among the three of us, the stromboli and ravioli, I might have an issue with.
Okay, that's all right. Hey, look, are you
try
willing
them and
to
see.
try? Right.
I am willing
to try.
I'm fat. I'll eat anything.
This is not bad. It's tough to get the potato flavor on a chip, but somehow they did it. Somehow they made it work.
You got a thumbs up from your computer. Just
that would be a thumbs up.
Yep, your computer gave it a thumbs up.
There you go. Next, I'm trying is the Toludo's cheese ravioli and marinara. Which is good. I get the cheese a lot. Mm-hmm. Little bits of marinara, but it's primarily, like cheese and oregano coming through. That's not bad. I don't know. I think between the two, they're both kind of equal. And lastly, we're going to do the original Romano Stromboli. I'm not quite sure what area this is from. Doesn't quite say. But I'm going to give it a shot. Now, this isn't like Stromboli I've had. The Strombolis I had are typically pizza Strombolis or cheesesteak Strombolis. I haven't had like a hoagie Stromboli. A little heat. You get a little heat. But I get the meats. I'm getting the meats.
It's like probably like a sausage.
Like a little those pepperoni, actually.
I would say like a sausage and peppers.
Yeah. I get a lot of I get the peppers. I get the pepperoni. I'm getting the cheese. No, that's pretty good. So I'll probably rank them. The ravioli probably first. Pierogi second. And this is not bad. It's just I'm not a hot person. So, the Stromboli would come in third.
And there you have it, folks. In case you're wondering, that's Kevin's take on the new HERS summertime contest flavors.
And feel free to pick them up. There's a little QR code for you to scan and vote. And apparently you could win too. I don't know what you could win, but you can win something, which, look, it's from HERS. It's got to be good.
HERS, not an official sponsor of Films of Fermentation.
Not yet.
I need to contact the Kelsey brothers, let them know we shouted them out on our show. They need to shout us out on theirs. Yeah. Every time I hear the word karaoke, I think of How I Met Your Mother and scene where the main character Ted says karaoke means empty orchestra. Isn't that beautiful? And I definitely got to try the Italian flavored chips as the resident, pasta eater on the crew.
I'll put these aside now. I just wanted a handful.
Does that mean that since I'm the resident German guy,
you should try the pierogi?
I got to try the pierogi.
Mm-hmm.
I thought pierogies were Polish.
Yeah, but when you're over there, you get Turkish food.
At one point, weren't they both the same?
It's all the same.
Back when Germany came rolling in with the tanks and the Polish folks didn't know what to do, so they were just throwing spears at them.
Yep.
All right. Not making fun of Polish people. Historical fact. Look it up. We're going to take a quick break from Coffee Brothers. And when we come back, we're going to our main segment, revisiting the 1996 classic, Independence Day.
I love a good beer. But right now, I can use a good cup of coffee.
Have you heard about Coffee Brothers?
Oh, yeah. They're that coffee company out of New York, right?
Well, they're more like a coffee wizards of New York City. They source these amazing seasonal blends and single origin coffees. It's like a flavor adventure in every cup. And get this, they roast everything in small batches. None of that mass-produced stuff. It's like each bean gets the VIB treatment.
VIB?
Very important bean.
Sounds fancy, but is it worth it?
Definitely. Plus, they're a two-person team. I mean, that's dedication right there. Two brothers, one mission to caffeinate the world. And right now, you can save 10% on your order. I mean, who doesn't love a good discount?
All right, you've convinced me. Let's get some Coffee Brothers now.
Coffee Brothers, where every cup is a sip of perfection. Save 10% on your next order with the code FNF10. That's FNF10. Cheers to great coffee. Hey, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us after the break here. We got some new drinks, it looks like. Mike, what are you drinking now?
I am drinking Old Smoky Moonshine's Mountain Rita. It is 9% alcohol by volume.
Nice.
And I've cracked open my Grove from Cape May. It is delicious. Going down a little too easy, if you ask me.
And I am on the original Sam Adams Boston Lager. And we are moving on to our main segment, which is revisiting the 1996 disaster film classic, probably
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, in my opinion, probably Roland Emmerich's best film. Independence Day, which came out, as I said, 1996. It stars Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Randy Quaid, Jeff Goldblum, Mary McDonnell, Judge Hirsch, Robert Loggia, and what was her name? Vivica A. Fox. I'm looking. She's pretty far down the list for some reason. I was trying to find.
I'm a pilot. I can fly.
and in a very underrated and I wish longer role, Harry Connick Jr. It was directed by Roland Emmerich, written by Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, who has been his co-writer on a number of different projects. Produced by Emmerich, Devlin, and Emmerich's sister, Uda Emmerich.
Uda?
With original score by David Arnold, who I didn't know much about. I had to look him up, and he did most of the scores on Roland Emmerich's films. So
Uda, Oprah, Uda.
The IMDb synopsis for this film. I love the IMDb synopses. The aliens are coming, and their goal is to invade and destroy Earth. It almost sounds like a comedy. Fighting superior technology, mankind's best weapon is the will to survive.
This same synopsis was used for Mars Attacks.
I was going to say, is that his play on words because Will Smith is the hero of the movie? The will to survive.
No. Randy Quaid is the hero. He
is the hero of the film. I'm back. The full summary, of course, is on July 2nd, communication systems worldwide are sent into chaos by a strange atmospheric interference. It is soon learned by the military that a number of enormous objects are on collision course with Earth. At first thought to be meteors, they are later revealed to be gigantic spacecraft piloted by a mysterious alien species. After attempts to communicate with the aliens go nowhere, David Levinson, an ex-scientist turned cable technician, discovers that the aliens are going to attack major points around the globe in less than a day. On July 3rd, the aliens all but obliterate New York, LA, Washington, as well as Paris, London, Houston, and Moscow. The survivors set out in convoys towards Area 51, a strange government testing ground where it is rumored the military has captured an alien spacecraft of their own. The survivors devise a plan to fight back against the enslaving aliens, and July 4th becomes the day humanity fights for its freedom. July 4th is their Independence Day. We will not go quietly into that good night.
I think the best actor role should go to Lieutenant Commander Data.
He gets supporting actor, yeah. He's in my notes. If you haven't read my notes yet, I have something about Brent Spiner in my notes. So what should you do first? Trivia, quotes, taglines?
Let's do some trivia.
Let's do some trivia first here. So let's go to my Independence Day trivia. I'm not going to do everything. There's a lot of stuff on the trivia page. I'll give you a couple things off the top of my head that I know of already. One of them was they originally had help from the U.S. military in terms of like strategies they would use in war and how the planes and all fly and all that. Like they had a lot of like consultation with the military. But as soon as they said that a major plot point involved Area 51, the military pulled out. And they would not. They refused to help afterward.
You guys keep thinking there's an Area 51. There's not. They're not going to help you encourage that.
Because it's actually Area 52.
And it's actually the first thing on the trivia list too, about how they withdrew their support afterwards. The scene in which Will Smith drags the unconscious alien across the desert was filmed on the salt flats in Great Salt Lake in Utah. The line, "What the hell is that smell?" was unscripted. Great Salt Lake is home to tiny crustaceans called brine shrimp. When they die, their bodies sink to the bottom of the lake, which isn't very deep, and decomposed. When the wind kicks up just right, the bottom mud is disturbed, and the smell of millions of decaying brine shrimp can be very, very bad. Apparently, nobody warned Will about this.
I could have been at a barbecue.
Isn't that the same thing as the sea monkeys? Aren't sea monkeys brine shrimp?
Brine shrimp, yeah. Holds the record for the most miniature model work to appear in one film. Model shop supervisor Michael Joyce estimated that more miniatures were used for this film than any other two films combined. Due to the advances in digital technology since the film's release, most experts believe this record may stand forever. And it's one of the problems I had with the second film, the sequel, Resurgence, was they went, the total CGI route, of course, and it kind of ruins it for you because this film is one of the last films to do like that mix of practical effects and a little bit of digital effects here and there.
Right.
Dean Devlin said most of the dialogue in the film is spoken by Jeff Goldblum, shared with Judd Hirsch and Will Smith, which was a lot of improvised lines.
I can see that.
I love this next bit of trivia.
Go for it. You do it.
Director Roland Emmerich was notified one day that Robert Loggia, was very upset and refusing to leave his trailer. Several days earlier, producer Dean Devlin accidentally suggested to Loggia, that he watch Airplane from 1980 for inspiration, when he actually meant to say or suggest to watch Airport from 1970. Not familiar with either film, Loggia rented Airplane, and after watching it, thought that he had unknowingly been participating in the production of a spoof movie. Surely you can't be serious. I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley. Get on the wire. Tell them how to take those sons of bitches down.
Those are two very different movies.
Two very different movies, and I'm surprised that Robert Loggia, who was young for the production of Airport, probably would not have seen that film. Like he was making movies since the 60s.
I'm more of a reader. I don't watch movies so much.
The president's speech was filmed on August 6, 1995, in front of an old airplane hangar that once housed the Enola Gay, which dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima exactly 50 years earlier on August 6, 1945. Interestingly, the crowd was not scripted to start cheering. Bill Pullman's delivery of the speech was so good that they just started applauding and cheering on their own, and the filmmakers kept it in the movie. I have a former student of mine that I taught when I taught high school who every year on July 4th posts a video on social media of him reciting Bill Pullman's speech from memory. Every year without fail, he posts a video of himself. Dean Devlin wanted the alien invasion to be on a grand scale because he disliked how in movies alien invasions always happen in low-key manners, such as landing in cornfields. Definitely wasn't low-key.
No.
This movie had almost as much destruction as Man of Steel.
Almost. Another alien invasion movie.
Jeff Goldblum reuses one of his lines from Jurassic Park in this film. Must go faster, must go faster. Let's see here.
I ain't hurt no fat woman. Oh.
You're obsessed with the fat lady. Oh, this is one of the best. I'm so glad they changed this. So this was not in the director's cut that I watched, but it was a deleted scene. It was actually like an alternate scene. So when Randy Quaid flies the airplane into the alien ship, to destroy it. In the original cut of the film, he's flying his crop duster with a missile
strapped to it,
like duct tape to it. And although it was, a fun idea, it's totally implausible that this crop duster could keep up not only with the F-15s but the alien ships as well. So that's a example of like a really good edit.
That was like the feeling the power between my legs.
Does this make sense to you? When Dean Devlin pitched this script at 20th Century Fox, he described it as War of the Worlds meets Pulp Fiction. The War of the Worlds thing I get, because this is basically War of the Worlds.
All right, but I don't get Pulp Fiction.
It's almost exactly War of the Worlds. I don't get the Pulp Fiction part of it.
Well, the Pulp Fiction part is Jeff Goldblum being quite obviously the Samuel L. Jackson character, and Will Smith being the John Travolta character.
And Robert Loggia is like Harvey Keitel as the wolf, right? He's like,
and when they turn around to ask a head in the garage to the alien in the back of the car and accidentally blow his brains out.
Blows his brains out. Oh man, I shot the alien in the face. The fuck did you do that for?
Say what again?
Say what one more time, motherfucker?
Say.
No. The part you need would be Randy Quaid when he's taking the missile up there, going, "It's the Royale with cheese,
motherfucker." Anybody got a missile left? I do, President. It's the one that says "bad motherfucker" on it. Mary McDonald accepted the role as the First Lady after simply being said, "It's a movie about a 15-mile wide spaceship." Well, she's easy to cast, I guess. How did they get her to do Sneakers?
It's a great movie. Don't you diss Sneakers?
Yeah,
I'm not dissing Sneakers. I want to know how they got Mary McDonald to do that one. If all they had to say was 15-mile wide ship.
They said Ben Kingsley and
they had to say Robert Redford.
All they had to say was
you're Robert Redford's love interest. I'm in.
Robert Redford.
Not for anything. I would say yes too if I was Robert.
Yeah, it's true.
And James Earl Jones.
Yeah, James Earl Jones. On the Bonneville Salt Flats, cast and crew wearing long pants still managed to get sunburns on their legs because the white salty surface reflected the sunlight up their pant legs. That's awful. A lot of the newscasters in the film were actual newscasters from LA. A lot of the reporters, they were actually real reporters. Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin penned the script in 4 weeks. It was sent out on a Thursday, and they started fielding offers the next day. By Monday, they were in pre-production. Jesus
wow.
And that's coming off his first movie. His first movie was Universal Soldier with Jean-Claude Van Damme
and
Dolph Lundgren. And then he did this film, and this was kind of like his blank check film, because after this, he does 2012 and The Day After Tomorrow and Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
You just named the disaster film. Roland Emmerich's probably behind it.
I like this. White House interiors were originally built for the American president, which came out in 1995, and subsequently used after for Mars Attacks in 1996 and Nixon, which was in 1995 as well.
Wow. This is a cool one here. And this is another thing about the practical effect thing and like using like studio lots and shit. The alien spacecraft in Area 51 that they're studying when you see it is a full-scale model that was 65 feet wide.
Wow.
Like they built the fucking spaceship. Filming was 72 days long. It started July 28th, 1995 and finished October 8th, 1995. That's an unusually short period for such a blockbuster film.
Yeah.
Vivica Fox's character quits her job as a stripper. When she leaves, she says to her boss, "Nice working for you, Mario," in a sarcastic tone. This is a jab at producer Mario Kasser, who forced Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin to cut scenes from their last film, Stargate. I didn't know he was behind Stargate.
Mm-hmm.
Roland Emmerich. That's a deleted scene that wasn't in the director's cut that I saw. Because I did ask in my notes, where did they keep her kid when she's stripping and he's at the Air Force Base?
In the back.
And well, it's in the deleted scene, the kid's sitting in the boss's office. and she quits because the boss gets mad at her for taking the kid to work.
He's in the champagne room.
Yeah. But as Chris Rock will tell you, there's no sex in the champagne room, so you don't gotta worry about it.
Yeah.
Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears was originally picked to play during the scene at the SETI before being replaced by REM's It's the End of the World as We Know It.
Good change.
I think it's a good change, and I also put in my notes it's a little on the nose, too.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it in the theater when that song started playing, the theater started laughing. Let's see. Let's do one more, and then we'll move on to quotes.
Okay.
The first showing of the film took place on July 2nd, 1996, the same day that the events in the movie start. I think I saw it on opening weekend. I can't remember. It's been a long time. I mean, that was a long time ago, but I went with my dad, my dad, and a bunch of my friends. Like, we all went to see it, and I think we went on opening night, which is unusual for me because I hate people.
No kidding.
Let's do some quotes here. Oh, here we go. The first quote that pops up is the speech.
Yes.
In a little less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world, and you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind. I love Bill Pullman's delivery. That word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We'll be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom, not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We are fighting for our right to live, to exist. We should win the day. The 4th of July will no longer be an American holiday, but as the day the world declares in one voice, we will not go quietly into that night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today we celebrate our Independence Day. I just realized as I did that I forgot to put together a trailer package for this that I should put in somewhere. I'm about to do that when I edit it.
Today we celebrate our Groundhog Day. Nope, that's not it. Nope.
That's not it. Shit. Line.
Our Flag Day.
Tonight we celebrate Jewish princesses. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, not Jewish princesses. Shit.
Oh.
All you need is love. John Lennon, smart man, shot in the back. Very sad. Here's your favorite one, Mike. I could have been at a barbecue. Welcome to Earth. That's what I call a close encounter. The hell is that smell?
Is Winston Marsalis a bitch? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Wrong movie. All right, you alien assholes. In the words of my generation, up yo. Is it going Levinson?
Light the fires and kick the tires, Big
Daddy. When they're in the ship and they're flying out, he's like, "You really think you could fly that thing? You really think you could do all that bullshit you just said?" Here's one of the plot conveniences of all conveniences. When the alien has its tentacles wrapped around Brent Spiner and it gets into the mind of the president, and the president sees their plans.
Was that in the additional scenes? Did they expand on that?
No, that was just the scene from the original one, but it's unedited like that.
No, I remember seeing it, but I'm thinking maybe they put in cut scenes of what the aliens' plans were, and
that would have been cool if they did that. No, they didn't do that though. No. You punched the president?
He wasn't the president then.
I ain't heard no fat lady. Forget the fat lady. You're obsessed with the fat lady. Grab us out of here. I don't know why my Jeff Goldblum sounds a lot like what's the guy from Hanna-Barbera? Exit stage left.
Oh, exit stage left.
Exit stage left. Once again, the LAPD is asking Los Angelinos not to fire their guns at the visiting spacecraft. You may inadvertently trigger an interstellar war. Must go faster. Must go faster. That's when he starts talking about Area 51 in the airplane. You know, Mexico, Area 51, and you did nothing. And then he's like, There is no Area 51. I promise you, sir. Whatever you read in the tabloids is not real. And then the
Mr. President.
Mr. President, yeah, not entirely accurate.
Which part?
Plausible deniability.
They don't let him out a lot. I can see why. I understand that.
When he meets Brent Spiner's character, Mr. President, wow, this is a pleasure. So you can imagine they don't let us out much.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Understandable.
Oh God, I hope they bring Elvis back.
It's Air Force One for crying out loud. Still to get 6. I like all his stuff. Judd Hirsch's stuff is funny in the movie.
The one I remember is the president, the first lady. So, what do you do for a living? I'm a dancer. Ah, the ballet.
Ballet, exotic.
Oh, sorry.
I'm looking for some of the funnier ones, but there's so many really good. It is a very quotable film. Okay, boys, let's give Mr. Case some cover. Gentlemen, let's plow the road.
It's one of your boys from Firefly in this movie.
I know.
Jane.
Adam Baldwin, Jane, yeah. This is the vault, or as some of us like to call it, the freak show. What does he say? He says, last 24 hours has been really exciting. He's like, people are dying out there.
Everything started to light up.
Yeah. So let's go to the taglines for this are unbelievable. There's so many fucking taglines. Oh my God. So like, you normally you get like 2, 3. You're lucky if you get like more than one sometimes.
Right.
This has like, oh my God, it's like 20 taglines. We've always believed we weren't alone. On July 4th, we'll wish we were. Now that's a lie because everything happens before July 4th.
True.
These extraterrestrials don't want a phone home. They want our home. Somebody got raised for that one.
Yeah.
July 4th, the day we fight back. This one just says, the Doomsday Ship. Is that a tagline? The fuck is that? On the 4th of July, you will have a ringside seat for the ultimate fireworks show.
That's pretty
Boring. Good. Yeah, I thought it was boring. Welcome to Earth. July 3rd, everywhere. Well, that's not a tagline. That's an advertisement.
Don't
Earth.
make plans for August.
Personal note, I want a little payback for when they do that.
Earth, take a good look. It could be your last. The one Kevin just read, don't make plans for August. The question of whether or not we are alone in the universe has been answered. Should be ... at the end there. Warning, your next stop may not be theirs. What?
Huh?
They only want one thing. ... Destruction. Enjoy the Super Bowl. It'll be your last. That was the Super Bowl promo tagline for the movie. On July 2nd, they arrive. On July 3rd, they strike. On July 4th, we fight back. That's the one I remember. I remember seeing that on like the posters in the movie theater. On July 2nd, 1996, the aliens came. July 3rd, 1996, the aliens saw and struck. On Independence Day, 1996, the human race will conquer. That's a little clunky. But the one that they arrive, they strike, we fight back is the one that I remember best from this. So, as always, when I watch a film, I overanalyze it, and I took notes. And I shared my notes with you, gentlemen, so I want to see what you think.
It looks like Kevin's editing notes, so
That's fine.
Did I edit
my notes? That's fine. I think you actually hit the spell checker on it because I had
That's
something
probably
wrong.
it because those little squiggly lines underneath bother me.
Yeah. My first thought was excellent score.
Yes,
a really amazing score.
Yeah,
And I was
the world as we know it.
Well, not REM. I'm talking about the music that plays over everything.
Don't wanna blow my mind. Don't wanna lose.
Wrong movie.
Wrong movie.
Wrong disaster movie.
That's Michael Bay Armageddon. I was like surprised when I looked it up though that I never heard of this guy that did the score, and I was like, oh, I could have sworn this would have been like somebody I knew, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing theater experience.
Yeah,
this is a movie. If they ever re-release it, I'm going to go see it again.
I mean, IMAX wasn't a thing when this was done, was it?
No.
So imagine this in IMAX.
Yeah, even just regular 3D would be amazing. But just as an experience, I remember like there was a lot of laughter in the crowd, a lot of cheering when certain things happened. It was a really like good crowd experience. It is just a remake of War of the Worlds. Yes or no?
I mean, looking at the key elements, they come to Earth.
Movie.
They begin to obliterate people, and their perishment is from an infection. So, yeah.
And it's not a bacterial infection like it is in War of the Worlds. No. It's a computer virus, but basically it's an infection. I already said REM's "End of the World" is pretty on the nose in the opening scene.
It is,
although it is a pretty good a good song to use for that. Am I wrong in thinking that Randy Quaid actually turned into his character from this movie?
I mean, wasn't Randy Quaid always his character from this movie?
We said the same thing when we did our revisit of Christmas Vacation, and I kind of think in real life he became a combination of Cousin Eddie and Russell Case. Like if Cousin Eddie was abducted by aliens, that's what Randy Quaid is now. Speaking of Randy Quaid, why do people continue to think he's crazy for saying he was abducted by aliens, even though the world is currently being destroyed by aliens? They're still looking at him like he's a nut job.
Well, they're thinking, who would want to, probe this wackadoo?
I mean, is this Roland Emmerich's best film?
Yes.
Yeah,
probably.
I definitely think it is. I think I actually like Universal Soldier, but I'm also a glutton for punishment.
Yeah,
but I think
was not so turned off by 2012. It was an interesting premise.
Same with The Day After Tomorrow. Like that wasn't that bad a film, but I think it just like after a while I was like, all right, how many more disasters can he come up with?
This is definitely better than Godzilla.
The 1997 Godzilla. Or whatever it was.
It's called Geno Godzilla because Godzilla in name only.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the film, but the dialogue is not the best. There's a lot of clunky exposition in it. Like, Steve, they're never going to let you fly the spaceship if you marry a stripper. That being said, I could have used a lot more Harry Connick Jr. in the film.
Yes.
He was awesome. In the few scenes he's in,
he is an actor,
really
an artist, I guess, or an actor that is underutilized. The movies I've seen him in, Copycat, Memphis Belle, he's actually pretty decent.
He's good as like that best friend character or that like side character and all that. Yeah. Speaking of that, I came up with an idea for a show idea that I have to talk to you guys about later. Kind of a staple of Emmerich films too are stereotyped characters like the Iraqi nomads, the Angelinos shooting at the spaceship, the proper British soldiers. Like,
I have a question about this after rewatching it.
Time. Yeah.
When we
already lost Belgian contingent in the
exactly it. They get information about how to destroy them, and it's about bloody time. What the fuck were you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Shut the fuck up. What were you doing?
I can tell you what the British were doing. They were waiting for the doctor to show the fuck up.
Yeah, no, the Doctor Who. Just the doctor. So we already answered the question: who was watching Jasmine's son while she strips? He was there, watching mommy work.
Again, one of the worst strip joints ever seen in a film. They all still had their clothes on.
It's the most PG strip club I've ever seen. The destruction scene is still impressive now as it was 28 years ago, and it was mostly done with practical effects.
Yeah.
Like all the destruction scenes were actually models built on a sound stage that they blew up and just like recorded it in slow motion. Like that's pretty amazing. The digital effects can be seen in things like the aliens' weapon being fired. Some of the stuff you see inside the ship when they're flying in there to plant the virus and all, like that's like obvious digital stuff. But there's a lot of practical in here too. Remember, in the event of an alien attack, get to the nearest maintenance closet. Fire can't enter doorways. Closing the door is also optional. This is how Vivica A. Fox and her son and the dog survived the blast from the alien spaceship. My opinion, I want to see if your opinion is the same. 90s Will Smith is the best Will Smith?
Yeah. I mean, look, after this, he obviously was not only able to go into outer space, but he became a alien enforcement officer in the Men in Black, you know. It just kind of follows suit. This was him living his best life, you know.
Yeah, like,
the minute he slapped the alien and said, "Get my planet's name out of your fucking mouth."
I saw a video the other day. It was Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Golden Globes a couple of years ago. And his speech was, remember these three things: pay your taxes, enjoy what you do, keep Will Smith's wife's name at the motherfucker. So he's coming off the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air at this point. So you got Independence Day, Men in Black. Even though it's not a great film, it did well at the box office. Wild Wild West. He already dipped his hand in drama a little bit. He did a movie called 6 Degrees of Separation.
Yeah.
So I mean, he has a run in the 90s, and then it continues in the early 2000s.
Enemy
Men
of
in
the
Black
State.
2, Enemy of the State, Hitch. He did Ali, which was his first Oscar nomination. So I mean, like, you know, he was on a run.
Yep.
And then he smacked Chris Rock on the Oscars and won an Oscar for it. Why do all 90s movies have keys in the sun visor?
Oh, how else are you going to get somebody to move your car if it's in the way?
Like, she finds the keys to the truck in the sun visor, and she uses the truck to, like, save people. Fucking Terminator finds keys in the sun visor and 3 different cars in that movie. In Terminator 2.
There was actually, in the 80s, they had put a little area in the visor for you to store your keys.
People didn't steal cars back then. I guess because everybody had the club on their wheel.
Yeah.
And again, you also didn't need a key fob in the 80s or the 90s. You really you needed 2 keys, one for the door of the car and one for the ignition of the car.
I'm fucking spoiled now, man. I get in my car. I got the push button start now. And so, like, I never had that before, and I've gotten, like, used to using it now. So now, like, I get in Katie's car, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta actually turn the ignition.
My wrist.
That is lazy.
The film had, I said before, they had full military support until a mention of Area 51, and then the military pulled out of the film. I highly recommend watching the director's cut, because there is a scene that explains why they're able to sit in the seats in the alien ship. They install a lot of stuff in the ship to make it usable for the humans. So there's a lot of explanation of how they can fly it, how they're able to sit comfortably in it, how they're able to control it.
Of course, because they put the directions upside down. Remember?
Yeah, there's more explanation as to how he's able to hack into the computer's system with his MacBook Pro.
Yeah, no, I still can't believe the MacBook Pro.
I mean, I still don't believe it either, because as somebody who's, like, not a big fan of Apple products, like, I can't see how that would work. I could probably do it better with my cell phone now, but
no, because all you had to do was plug in a Windows based, and there's got to be some kind of fucking virus on there that's going to get.
I'm sure, like, the aliens didn't have a firewall or something, like, you know.
They didn't update their McAfee subscription.
Yeah, kept popping up on the screen. The alien just kept texting it out. I said to the pre-show they would have had an easier time hacking into it with the computer that Matthew Broderick uses in war games.
I'm canceling this credit card.
Would you like to play chess? Between his first breakout role on Night Court, his role as Data on Next Gen and other Star Trek IPs, and his role as Dr. Oaken in Independence Day, is Brent Spiner a national treasure?
Oh, hell yeah. Because he's in other things too.
He also does voice roles as well.
He only plays scientists. I mean, with the exception of Night Court, right? But it's always science in nature. what was the name? A Phenomenon, right? With John Travolta. He played the scientist.
He plays the psychiatrist. Yeah.
Psychiatrist, right? He's playing a scientist here. He's Data on the Next Generation. Don't get me wrong, I love the guy, but I'd like to see.
I don't know.
To see him as a mass murderer.
He was in this movie with Cuba Gooding Jr., I think it was, where Cuba Gooding Jr. pretends to be a gay man so he could go on this cruise, and Brent Spiner is the dance instructor on the cruise boat. So I mean, he's a other things.
Oh,
I can't remember the name of the fucking movie.
I can't believe I didn't see that movie. Sounds like it would be right in my alley.
Can you believe I have?
Yes, I can.
I can't remember the name of it, but I've seen it. I think he's reached national treasure status. So 2-1 on that vote.
That's fine.
Have I mentioned how much I love practical effects? Case in point, the alien autopsy scene.
Yes.
Is an amazing scene. Like, just the level of detail that they go into with cutting it open and the goo inside it and the hand moving subtly. And
it's always good when there's actual goo.
Yeah, and then when the alien gets up, it's a lot of it's a lot of puppetry when the alien gets up, but it's really cool. It's better than the alien autopsy film that was played on Fox back in the 90s. And of course, as with all films like this, America brings the world together.
Because we're America.
It's a bloody time. What does they want to do?
That's because we're America. America, we can do it.
Mike and I were talking about the original ending. Kev, I don't know if you heard us because you were on the phone at the time, but we were talking about the original ending was Randy Quaid shows up in his crop duster plane with a missile duct taped to the wing. And that's how he flies the ship into the alien ship to destroy it. And
no, that would have made a much better ending.
After screening it, the audience was like, this is ridiculous. And so they went back and did reshoots. And that's some of the digital editing there was they put the F-15 plane in instead of the crop duster.
Oh, well, this is a lot more plausible now.
They had to make it a little bit more realistic.
He's a pilot. He can fly.
I can fly because there's no way the crop duster plane would have kept up with not only military airplanes but alien ships as well.
That's what. See, that's where I think they're wrong. Because it was going so slow, the other ships didn't even realize it was there.
Was that what it was? They could smell the alcohol on his breath, and they had to keep away. They also did some explanation about his kids in the director's cut as well. That like the one kid always getting sick because he has some kind of like disease, and the older son is his stepson, which is why he looks nothing like him.
Right.
None of the kids look like him.
And the daughter's a whore.
You had a kid that says to her in that scene, "You want to die a virgin? You don't want to die a virgin."
Yeah, that was the kid from 10 Things I Hate About You.
The asshole kid from 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah.
Why does the signal transmitter that they attach to the bottom of the ship look like a shiny silver dildo?
That's what all antennas look like back in the
I mean, it was just blatantly there, and it's hanging down from the bottom of the ship. It was like if I were the aliens when I flew into the ship, I'd been like, what's their dick hanging off the wing?
Well, you understand that, it was an alien ship and they do probing. I mean, it has to look like something that would probe.
That would probe.
Exactly.
It even extends too. He pushes a button and the tip comes down. It like extends too. It gets erect. And finally, Bill Pullman's monologue. Is it a top 10 of all time monologue in film?
No question.
No,
it's not a top 10 for you. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Really?
It's maybe top 20, but not top 10.
I mean,
there's so many other better actors who give such more emotionally charged monologues.
Why it's not up there with like Braveheart or
like Robin Williams and Goodwill Hunting,
or Robin Williams in Dead Poet Society, or Kenneth Branagh on Hamlet. Like nothing like that. It's not up there with
Count Hamlet.
Not up there with kick some ass.
It's not up there with Christopher Walken in Pulp Fiction or Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction.
Exactly.
All right. Well, maybe it's 11th.
Turn it up to 11.
That's actually an episode I would like to do one day. I'd like to do best monologues. One Oscar. Who gets it? Mike, who did you say you wanted? for your Oscar winner?
I would think of Brett Spiner.
You want Brent Spiner to get Best Supporting Actor for playing Dr. Oaken?
Dr. Oki.
Kev, who would you give it to?
Judd Hirsch.
Judd Hirsch, Best Supporting Actor.
Mm-hmm.
For playing the nebbish Jewish father.
Look, is he all the MIT? He got 8 years of school. And he's a cable repairman.
It did get an Oscar. This movie won Oscar for Best Visual Effects, which is I think deserving considering, you know. So I would have cheated and said that, but it's already got it for that. I'm going to give it to. I'm going to give it to Will Smith for Best Actor. No, I changed my mind. Harry Connick Jr., Best Supporting Actor.
Harry Connick Jr.
All right. Quick recast. If they were going to remake this movie today, who would you recast? You could pick one character or multiple characters. You could even do Muppets if you want. But off the cuff, who would you cast? I would put man.
That's a tough one.
It's a tough one. Just so many like really good roles. I think I would do the president character instead of Bill Pullman. The only thing I would put in that, just to mix things up a little bit, Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. Yeah, that would work.
War Machine. Put him in there. I think he did.
I think I'd put Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen in there. Maybe at this point you want to use Emilio Estevez. He's a little closer to Bill Pullman. Who would I put in the Vivica A. Fox role? Because I could really like to see this actress in a G-rated strip scene.
Zendaya.
I was going to say she looks a little on the young side, but then if you watch Euphoria, it's like, okay, I guess she's all right with it.
Zoe Saldana.
Scarlett
Johansson?
Scarlett Johansson for everything. I would make ScarJo the Jeff Goldblum's wife character, the like press secretary for the president.
You know who I would do the Jeff Goldblum character as?
Jeff Goldblum.
No. Your guy, our guy from Resident Alien. Alan
Tudyk. Alan Tudyk, yeah. I think Alan Tudyk would be good as Dr. Oaken.
Yeah.
That too.
You know who else would be good as Dr. Oaken? Beaker and Bunsen. Be a dual role. So I have a book recommendation for tonight. If you are a fan of this film, Independence Day, and if you're a fan of the War of the Worlds, whether it be the 2006 Steven Spielberg version or the 1953 original that is fucking amazing, then you might want to check out the book that all of these are based on, War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, that was written in the late 1800s. Mike, you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening?
I do. The Portland Craft Beer Festival brings together some of the finest breweries in the country and shows off the finest talent of Portland, Oregon, which has been dubbed the craft beer capital of the United States. The festival usually runs July 1st through July 3rd.
We got a lot of road trips we got to plan.
Yeah.
So how were your drinks this evening, guys?
Very good.
Very good. The Grove, the pool party was all right. A little too, I know it was supposed to be mild on the hoppiness, but it was a little too hoppy for me. But the Groove was very good.
I'm going to sleep well tonight.
Let's say you working tomorrow?
I am.
Because you were hitting some heavy shit tonight. I like all the stuff you were drinking because I've had it by myself before and it's all really good. But
they're both empty.
You were hitting some heavy shit tonight. I had the Sam Adams Boston Lager, which is always a trusty go-to, and the Sam Adams Breakaway Blonde Ale, which is one of their newer flavors for their summertime pack. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening for episode 156, which was our special look back at the 1996 disaster film classic, Independence Day. We hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Remember, you can email us at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or go to linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. You can also find us at The Den, the Deluxe Edition Network, deluxeeditionnetwork.com, featuring podcast of the month, The History I'd Like to Fuck with Dawn Brodey. You can also support us on Patreon or buy our merchandise at teespring.com. We're going to take a little break for the July 4th holiday. I think a lot of people probably will, so I'm sure you're not going to be missing us too much. But we will be re-releasing some older episodes during that week that you can go back and listen to. We'll be returning with our next new episode, episode 157, on Thursday. We'll be recording on Thursday, July 11th, which will be released the following Tuesday. So that would be what? Mike, do some math for me. 12, 13, 14, 56. That would be July 16th. So our next new episode will be released. Yeah. Our next new episode will be released on Tuesday, July 16th, episode 157. We're bringing back the bracket for this episode. We haven't done a bracket in a while. And what we're going to be looking at are our favorite musical moments from non-musical films. Scenes like, for example, Putting on the Ritz from Young Frankenstein, or Twist and Shout from Ferris Bueller, things like that. So we're going to be putting that together into a bracket, do a little vote. We might have some user support on that as well. We'll see. Don't forget, you can go to the Denny's and vote for us for Podcast of the Year, Podcaster of the Year, and Best Male Voice on the Den. I'll be releasing that in a few days. And I think that's all I got to say for now. So once again, I'm pretty sure I'm Leo.
I'm